Howdy, folks. Rosendo from MLH here. I am excited to be kicking off Global Hack Week, Cloud Week with y'all. We've got some awesome questions already filtering into the chat. If you're new to Global Hack Week, feel free to stick around and find out what exactly everything is about here. We've got Lucky 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 new here. What exactly are we supposed to do? I'm clueless. No worries. You could just sit back, relax, and enjoy some awesome educational content with the folks from Snowflake that are coming up next. Basically, Global Hack Week is just going to be a week-long virtual conference or virtual hackathon for the folks that are joining us at home. You'll have challenges, workshops, all types of content, and also folks on Discord that you can actually engage with throughout the week. So if you're really into tech and software engineering, hacking in general, definitely a great place for you to be at. Yeah, thank you, Quackers and Cheese. I love the name. Watch streams, do challenges, chat, and Discord. Definitely what we're going to be doing all week long. So once again, my name is Rosendo from MLH. This is Global Hack Week Cloud, and we are going to get started. We have some awesome folks from Snowflake that are going to be joining us today. We're going to be learning how to set up an LLM-powered agent in less than 5 minutes. So really exciting stuff. Anna is going to be joining us. So without any further ado, please give her a warm welcome.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing? Actually, let's see. Who in the chat is not in a time zone where it's morning? Where are people dialing in from? I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. What about the rest of you? Come on, drop it in the chat. Let's see. India. Nice. Hello. Hello. Just past midnight. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for staying up so late. That's amazing. Sri Lanka. Oh, cool. Oh, I love Sri Lanka. I've been to Sri Lanka a couple of times. One of my favorite countries. Nigeria. Welcome. UAE. Wow. 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 Nepal. Beautiful. Indonesia. Riverside. Thank you. Singapore, beautiful. Cool, cool. I spent 6 years in Singapore, one of the most beautiful countries. What about me? I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it is 8 in the morning for me. So I've just had my first cup of coffee, and that means I am wired and I am ready to go. My name is Anna, and I work at Snowflake. You might have also noticed that I'm wearing a Streamlit hat. Does anyone recognize this? How many folks recognize the Streamlit logo? Have you seen this before? Nice. Yes. Cool. All right. You've probably seen this at some hackathons. Yes. All right. Streamlit. Exactly. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use Snowflake and a little bit of Streamlit to build a agent in 5 minutes. The reason these things go together is because a couple of years ago, Snowflake actually acquired Streamlit, but you might have never noticed because we've been going out into the community and doing things like this and continuing to encourage and grow the Streamlit community. So, all right, with that, this is my first hackathon. Any tips? Sit back, relax, and we're going to get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to some code. And I'm going to talk you through what we're going to do. And then we're going to zoom out a little bit to the bigger picture. But before I do that, all right, does everyone see my screen? I think looks good. If we could paste the repository in the chat, that would be wonderful, so that you can follow along. But it's basically /Anaphil, that's my name, /Cortex Agent API demo, right? And everything you need is going to be in this repository. Or you can use the link that Rosendo pasted down below. Okay, how many people here know what an agent is? Can anyone tell me what is an agent? I know LLMs are cool, right? Like you've probably heard LLMs before, but what's an agent? All right, everyone's busy going to the repo. RAG with a knowledge base. It helps LLMs to do stuff. Okay. Something using a Gen AI. Yeah, okay. Is it like an AI person? That's the joke, right? Divyansh, it's the joke is it feels like it's a person. Yes, excellent FBI agent. Very cute, very cute. An agent allows LLMs to do actions. Yes, exactly. Pretty much. That is a really great way of putting it. Thank you so much. But that's what we're going to do today, right? We're not just going to use and build an LLM that you can talk to. What we're going to do is we can build an LLM example that is going to perform tasks for us. It's going to actually not just perform tasks, but it's going to make decisions about which tasks it's going to perform. So it's going to choose between different ways of running a command based on how we're talking to it in natural language. That sounds pretty cool, right? All right. I'm going to assume yes. And I'm going to assume everyone is in the GitHub repo by now. Yeah, exactly. All right. So this should be pretty straightforward. We need to do a little bit of setup, but most of that setup is going to be getting some data into a sample account. And I'm going to walk you through every step of this process. All right. So let's go. Cool. Let's see. In your repo, you should have... you should be able to see a sign up link, but also Rosendo, if we don't mind dropping in the sign up link in the chat, that would be super helpful for folks. So for folks who can't see it, but you can also use the sign up link in here and just click that. And you will see something that looks like this, except yours is going to say 120 days. So if you use the link in the chat, you get kind of a student edition of Snowflake. So don't forget to click on the one in the chat and you should be able to see this should say 120 days. Yeah, you can fork it. You can pull it down locally. We're going to be working completely locally for today. So you can do whatever you like, fork or git clone. Yeah, and for folks who are following along, I'm going to flash the repo again on the screen as well, just so that you have it. And there's a short link in the chat. All right, cool, great. And then, all right, everyone should be able to see your sign up page. I'm going to do this with you so that you can have some time to do it. All right, I'm going to do snowflake.com. You can do whatever email you like. And I'm going to pretend I'm a student exploring Snowflake. All right. I'm going to say my school name is MLH because that's what we're doing. And we're just going to choose AWS for now because, and leave everything as a default. All right. And then check a box. How's everyone doing? Did everyone manage to get here and get your 120 days instead of 30 days? Yeah, cool. All right, great. Excellent. So far, so good. All right, and then that's it. Just hit the get start button. There's a survey. I'm going to skip that for now so that we can move things along. 4x more days for anyone counting. Exactly. Still cloning, sorry. No worries. You can select AWS. All right. I'm going to go back and do it again so that you can see it. All right. So for folks following along, there we go, school name MLH, and I picked AWS. Yeah, the middle one. Just keep everything else as default. Pick enterprise. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for your trial, but you probably want all the features. All right, you can scroll up for the GitHub repo link, or folks are going to paste it in the chat. Yes, enterprise is fine. All right. So I'm going to hit the get started button again. I'm going to skip the survey and ta-da! Okay, my account is now set up. In a different window, I'm going to go and activate it. Just sign up again. Don't worry about it. If you accidentally click something you shouldn't have, just start again. You can use any email you like. We're not picky. You can use your Gmail. It should work just fine. Let me know if it doesn't in the chat. All right. How are folks doing? Has anyone managed to get to this screen? All right. To get 120 days, use the link up. Yes, the edition should be enterprise. Cool. All right. All we've done so far is clone the repo and sign up into Snowflake. So if you're inside your Snowflake account, you are good. Yeah, let's go. Okay, choose AWS for the tutorial. All right, I'm seeing some people get there. So in the interest of time, I'm going to go and get moving. If you need help catching up, you can always follow along with all of this afterwards. The instructions are super simple. So I'm just going to walk you through the rest of this tutorial. So in your email, you should see an activation email. You need to click a button and it will look like this. Right? And you just need to click to activate a button like that. All right, do folks see that? And then that's it. You need to make a username and password. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a password manager. All right. And that's it. Make sure you remember the password because we're going to need it. Interesting. Rita or Rosendo on the call, would you mind seeing if something is happening with snowflake.com right now? Let's see. Uh-oh. All right. Let's see. Interesting. Are other people able to get in? Open for you? Okay.
And it worked for me. I tried it
It
out.
works for you too? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just try another browser tab. That's kind of weird. All right, let's try Google Chrome. Yep, okay. That's my browser. Oh, good. All right. I'm going to switch to a different screen so that we can keep this moving. So I'm going to present again. All right. There. All right. So what you should be seeing looks something like this. All right. And sorry, folks, give me a minute. All right. What I need is the right URL for the trial. So give me 2 shakes. All right. And I'm back in. Apologies. Not sure what happened there. Okay. Let's get back to getting this set up. All right. So you should see something that looks like this, right? All we've done for now is we've just signed up for Snowflake, right? That's it. And then you can see I have a trial here that ends in 119 days, right? Because I did this last night just to make sure that it was working. And all right. My screen is invisible. Huh. Rosendo. Any ideas? How about now? Great. That's
There you
weird.
go. Yeah, that was it was displaying on our end, but all right.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Let's go. Okay. So you're just in the account, right? All we've done is we've cloned the repo, we've signed up, and we've activated our account. Cool. All right. So next up, I'm going to go back to my repo. Agent API demo. All right. So now we're going to go to projects, worksheets, and we're going to click create a new worksheet. That's just the big blue button, right? So you can also do this. You can mouse over and go to worksheets and then go to create SQL worksheet, right? Super easy. And it looks a little like this, right? You can just skip the pop-up when you first log into your account. There's a skip button at the bottom. It's taking a long time to load. Interesting. I do wonder if there's an availability thing going on somewhere, if it's inconsistent for folks. All right. Has anyone been able to get into the worksheet? Yeah. Okay, cool. If you're feeling lost, all of the instructions are in the repo. All right. So you can do this on your own time. And for now, what we're going to do is, again, I'm going back to my repo, right? This is where I've been this whole time. And then I'm going to do a little bit of setup, right? So we need things in our account. We just created an account. There's nothing in there. There's no data. There's no nothing. So I'm just going to take all of this code and smoosh it right in here. All right. And then I'll tell you what we're doing in just a second. Right. Cool. Yes. So we're pasting it in the worksheet. I'm going to leave one worksheet here so you can see what I'm doing. All right. Is this big enough for folks? Let's see. I can make it a little bigger. And then you can make that smaller so you can just see the code. Right. So what we're doing is we're doing a little bit of prep. We're just creating some resources for us, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what databases and schemas and things are. But for now, all you need to know is, right, which file you are in here. We're on step number 4. So this entire setup SQL file in your GitHub. And what you want is you want a SQL worksheet. All right. So what we're doing is we're just setting up some tables so that we can put some fake data into our account. Now you will see that I've already done this. I have this data in here. But what I want you to do is I want you to run this whole worksheet. So what you can do is you can select everything, right? And then you hit this big blue button here. And that's it. All right. Has everyone been able to run everything? Use database. All right. Yes. Have you selected the entire code? Great. Yes. You should see status stage area model successfully created. Exactly. You should see something that looks like this. So what we've done is we've loaded a whole bunch of data and we've created some services that are going to help us later on with the agent. All right, cool, sweet. That was the hard part, believe it or not. Everything else from here is just configuration, right? So now we need to do one more thing. We have to load this model.yaml file. Yes, if you're getting an error, try to highlight all of the code and run it. And make sure you're not leaving any lines of code out. All right. So let's move on to number 6. What we're going to do is we're just going to upload this YAML file to this add data menu over here. All right. And I'm going to, there's a screenshot in the repo for what this should look like. So what we're going to do is we're going to select sales intelligence data, and then we're going to select the stage models that we just created earlier. And we're going to upload this YAML file, and you can find this YAML file right here. All right. It just looks like that. It's just YAML. It's just a configuration. And I'll tell you a little bit about what all of this does as soon as we get set up and we see that moment where we're talking to the agent. All right. I promise we're almost there. All right. Everyone able to get in here? Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah. And it should look like this. All we've done is upload a file. No? All right, where are getting stuck? Where are people getting stuck? Have you found... All right. Have folks found... for folks who have successfully loaded the worksheet, go to data and go to add data. And then click on load files into a stage. It's this button right here. We're just uploading a file. All right. Yeah. And then which database? You go to sales intelligence and then data and then models. All right. And then you just upload this file, and I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. Cool. Awesome. Great. All right. Sweet. Everyone with me? Awesome. Awesome. And that's it. So all we've done is we've literally just loaded some data, right? I know it looks scary, but we've just cloned a repo, we've created an account, and we've loaded some data. That's all we've done, right? Now we get to the fun part. We need to set up some configuration so we can actually run this app, right? And we're going to do that. We're going to create a folder called Streamlit in your repo and a file called secrets. So for people who know Streamlit, you would know that you don't want to put credentials in your repository, right? So we actually have a .streamlit folder, and that .streamlit folder, what it's doing is it's making sure that all of the parameters and all of the things that are secure about the demo that we're doing, they're all going to go into a file that's not going to get checked into GitHub, right? So Let's do that together. Let's go back to your repository. So I'm going to share a different window, and we're going to actually get into the code. All right, here it is. All right. So I'm in my Cortex Agent API demo. You see that? This is just the GitHub repo that you pulled in. So if you need to get there, you can load it in VS Code or somewhere else, right? So we can do. It's kind of blank. No screen. Okay, interesting. All right. I was like, what do you mean you can't find your terminal? What it is you can't find my terminal. How's that? Nope. Still doesn't work? Yeah? All right. Cool. Okay, great. So you can see that I've got almost everything the same as my repo. All right. Cool. You can see it now. That's great. What you can do to create the folder is you could just do make directory Streamlit. In my case, it already exists, but you can run that. And then you can do whatever is your VS Code shortcut, or you can just do, right, nano.streamlit secrets. And then you will have, this will be blank, but what I want you to do is I want you to fill it in with me, and I'll show you how to do this. What do we do with the folder? All right, let me show you. So we're just making a directory called .streamlit. It doesn't ship with it because that's where your credentials live. Yeah. So all we're doing is we're saying make directory in your terminal. Right. Or you can just create a directory named .streamlit if you are in your Finder. Yeah. Yes, the file is empty. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill it in. What you can do is you can copy and paste from the GitHub repo. So at the very end, yeah, let me show you. All right. All right. So in the GitHub repo, I actually have scaffolding for you. So all you have to do is copy and paste this into that secrets file. Yes. If you're on Windows, you can open the command prompt. Right. So can't see the screen again.
Yeah, sorry, and it's like a bug with the new the new StreamYard feature, I think. But yeah, it's up now.
Yeah, it's up. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. And then what I want to do is I want to show you how to find this information in your account. All right. So it is actually under your username here, all the way at the bottom left. Regardless of where you are in Snowflake, like on any page, you can go here and you can select connect a tool to Snowflake. Right. So it's going to give you all of this fun account information. Yes, the secrets file is supposed to be empty. Create a folder called Streamlit in your repository that you pull down from GitHub. All right. If you're seeing nothing in the repo, make sure that you're in the right directory. Okay. Is everyone able to get to this account details page? Are you able to see it? Yeah. Okay. So just match the names here to what's in the secrets instructions, right? So I've got, sorry, Rosendo, I'm going to have to split and go to a different window again. So let's see if that works. All right. So mine looks like this, right? You just fill it out based on what's in your account. You've got account, and this is your account identifier. You've got user, you've got a role. The password is the one that you've set up earlier, and then you've got the host. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you what the final product looks like, right? Because I want you guys to be excited, and then we'll figure out the rest of it and debug while everyone else catches up. Does that sound good? All right. So I'm going to now run my terminal. Here we go. All right. So I'm just going to do Streamlit run streamlit.py, right? That's it. If you've used Streamlit before, you would know that that is a classic command that you run. And let's see, I want to show you what that looks like. All right. It looks like this. All right. Let's see. Nope. All right. Looks like Streamlit now. All right. So I'm going to ask it a couple of questions, and I've even included the questions in the repo so that you can Cortex Agent demo. I'm going to show you the repo again so that you can see it. But I have a couple of prompts, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's happening behind the scenes. So all right. So what I'm doing is I'm asking it a question. And the first time it's running, it's establishing my connection, right? But I wanted to know, I'm asking it a specific question about my data, right? So if you remember, when we loaded this in our account, we added some data. So I'm going to show you how it's thinking. All right. There we go. All right. So we have a bunch of data in our account. We have some text data that looks like this. It's basically call transcripts, right, with a bunch of companies and information about those transcripts, information about those companies. And then we also have some sales data. We have some things around like deal values, when the deal was closed, who was the sales rep on the deal, stuff like that, right? Cool. So what we're doing is, and this is where the agent part comes in, we're asking our agent a question, and the agent is trying to decide between whether it needs to output a query and whether it needs to give us some natural language. So I'm going to do, hello, how are you? And then I'm going to do a call of a summary of a call. So what this is going to do is this is going to summarize the sales conversation in one of our tables. And while that's running, right? So you saw that we have a transcript loaded in the data warehouse. That's really unstructured. It's just a literal raw transcript of data. And what our chatbot has done is it's essentially summarized it, right? But all I did was tell it to summarize. But if I want more structured output, I can actually ask it another question. So I'm going to ask, what's the total sales volume last year again, so you can see it. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me SQL back instead. And here's why that's really cool. So what the agent is doing is it's interpreting what I want, right? When I say summarize a call, it's like, all right, cool. You want unstructured data. You want to be able to query across something that's like really large. You want me to use a summarization function. So I'm going to do that behind the scenes by myself, and you don't have to tell me anything, right? Whereas if I ask for total sales volume, right? Or I might say, what was the total sales volume last month? Right. It will. All right. I know folks are still trying to get connected. I'll come back and help you get connected. I just want to show you what it looks like in the end, so that you can know what you're looking for and you can play with it and you can get excited. All right. All right. So what we just did was, we were able to summarize the call, and then we said, all right, actually, I don't want the sales volume last year. I want the sales volume last month, and it modified the query for me. So now if I take this query and I run it in my account, check out what happens, right? This is fully functional SQL. Except I'm not fully functionally copying and pasting. All right. All right, let's try last year. Oh, interesting. It's missing a bracket. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. It actually needs a bracket. Interesting. I think that's a formatting issue on my side. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So you can see that it gave me the total sales volume, and you will be able to check it against the data and see that it works. I'm not sure why it's not giving me the right SQL this morning, but the idea is this, right? So imagine, let me go back to my agent over here, right? Imagine that I can give my user an input, right? I can say, hey, I think that this is what you're looking for. Would you like me to just run the query for you and give you the result? And it can do that too, right? So that's what's really powerful about agents is they can make decisions on your behalf and they can take actions on your behalf, right? So in your example, in your GitHub repo, in the code, I will show you a couple of other fun things that you can do. There is a run Snowflake query. I haven't wired it up, but it's pretty simple. I can pass the query that I just got as a result, and I can return an output, right? So I've given you the scaffolding to continue this example and play with it. And if you wanted to, you could actually extend this and actually have it run the code for you. But I wanted to keep it really simple because agents are really, really complicated, right? And so all of the code here is, all right, so there's a Llama 3.1 model. That's what we're using. we're just sending it some JSON to an API, right? There's an API endpoint here. So there's nothing terribly scary going on. There are some configuration parameters, and the rest of this is kind of SQL fluff. It's just setting up the chat input and doing some pretty things to make sure that your messages get preserved so that you can see what you're doing. But most of this is actually the API, right? It's giving me a result. And what I want to do in the next few minutes is I want to show you what it looks like as the model is thinking, right? Would that be cool? Or do folks want to catch up and make sure that you can run it yourself? All right. If you need to know what goes in the host, it looks like this. Sorry, Sam. I know you've been waiting for the answer for this for a while. All right. Can you see that? All right. So if you're looking for host information, this is what it looks like. It's in the same connection configuration. It's just your account name .snowflakecomputing.com, right? Super simple. Cool. All right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to modify my code. And I'm going to show you the output that the model gives me so you can kind of see how it's thinking and how it's making decisions. All right. So I'm going to do. I'm just going to output the payload that I am getting and nothing else. So right. So what I'm doing is I'm making a request to an API with some headers, right? And if the status code is okay, I'm loading JSON. That's all I'm doing. Okay. And everything else is kind of like pretty printing of that resulting output. But I'm going to kind of break it into its most fundamental piece. All right. And then let's try to see what happens. All right. So I've modified my code. And you notice I don't have to rerun anything, right? I'm just refreshing my screen. So let's ask the same question again. What was the total sales volume last year? Or actually, let's just say hello for now. Let's see what happens. Hello. Cool. All right. So you see all that JSON that it spat out, right? Check this out. It's actually giving me, hello, it's great to chat with you. Is there something on your mind? What happened? Yeah. So what I did was I'm just outputting the raw result that you get from the API without doing all of the pretty printing. The reason it's coming out like this is because this is streaming to you in your application. So every one of these messages is a streamed bit, right? And the code in your repo is assembling those pieces into text. Okay, so let me show you how I did that. Okay. It is, one second. All right. So what I'm doing is, right. So right now, earlier I was just outputting the entire JSON string, and now I'm selecting something that I want from it, right? Which is the text. And then I'm assembling it into a response. And Streamlit is actually really cool about that. I don't know. Can folks see my screen? I'm actually showing my code here. Yeah. Okay. Right. So what I'm doing, right, is I was giving you the entire JSON output earlier from the API, right? It's just raw output from the API. And the only thing I'm doing when I'm assembling it is I have this function, and Streamlit is processing the streaming response in the background. It just like knows what to do with the streaming response if I give it a string, and it figures it out. So I'm putting it back to the way that it was, so you can see the difference. All right. And now if I reload my page and I say, hello, hello. Hi, it's great to chat with you. Right? Isn't that cool? But that response is coming in little bits and chunks. So it's streamed. Now imagine if that was a much longer response, right? You don't have to wait for the entire response for you to get information and feedback from your LLM, right? So that's actually what's happening under the hood. Is this interesting? Is this cool? All right, let me show you how the agent thinks, okay? Because you can actually see this in the API. Instead, yeah, all right, sweet. I think it's cool, so I'm glad you think it's cool too. This is very nerdy, but it's super cool. So let's see how the agent thinks, right? You might have noticed in my code that there's a couple of if statements and else statements. So what I'm basically doing is I'm saying, all right, if the agent thinks that I just want text from the agent, it's going to do one thing. If I think that the agent thinks that I want it to use a tool, it's going to do something different. And I'll show you the tool use bit. So we're going to go back to one of our prompts. So let's say we want to go back to summarizing the call. All right, so I'm going to summarize the call with TechCorp Inc. All right, you see that? Okay, so we've actually pre-printed the result because apparently I have duplication in my code somewhere as I commented it out. But this is the actual output that tells me what the model is doing. So you can see that the model is like, okay, you want me to use a tool instead of responding in text. Cool. You have asked me to summarize the call with this company. Here's the result of me using a tool, right? I think that the tool that I need to use is called search. So I'm going to search through the data over here. And then I'm going to output a result that is actually an interpretation of the data, right? So this is not just the agent pulling information from the data set, right? It's actually interpreting it for me. And it's telling me what's happening. So take a look, all right? In our sample data, where's my data? All right, in my sample data, I've got all these sales conversations, right? Yeah, all right. You can't see it easily in here, but there's a lot more to this transcript than what you can see. It's like a BTS moment. I hope that's a good thing. All right, so let's do one more thing. Let's show you how it's thinking when it's creating the SQL for us, right? So I'm going to go back to our query. What was the total sales volume last year? All right, so check it out. Now what it's saying, okay, you still want me to use a tool, but I think you want me to use a different tool. right? I think you actually want me to do some analysis instead of searching through the database, right? So you can see that the tool that it has chosen is different. And that's really cool. It still knows what the total sales volume last year is. That's my query. That's my prompt. And the results are here, right? Our tool results. And it's saying, okay, so I'm going to respond with my interpretation of the question. I'm also going to respond with some SQL. And you can see that the SQL here works. So there's something in the output of my example that's interpreting it. But this SQL is valid, right? So I'm going to copy and paste it from here just to show you that it is valid. LLMs are really good at producing code. It's kind of scary. Check it out, right? Total sales volume. Boom. Yeah. It specified certain ranges, but take a look. It's actually, yeah. It interpreted the question as deal value between January and December 31st, right? Because what did I ask it? I said, what was the total sales volume last year, right? So it figured out that last year means these dates, and it turned it into a query that is specific to what I'm looking for. All right. I feel like there's one person in the crowd who's like, whoa, and everyone else is like, how does this work again? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes and help folks try and get here. But I really wanted to show you the end result, right? That's really, really cool. Um, and like I had a lot of fun playing with this example. And what I was trying to do was I was trying to distill it to the smallest possible thing that I can show you so I can actually explain how the model is thinking, right? So you can really see that. You can see the tool use here. You can see that it was deciding between a text response, a search query, and an analytics, an actual like structured analytics query on my data set. Not only that, it wrote the correct SQL for me, right? It interpreted the dates correctly. It told me what I needed to know. And all of that output was streamed to me basically as the model was thinking. Yeah. I know this is a lot, right? Agents are really complex, but all you have to do for this example to work, right, is all we've done and all I've shown you today is I've cloned a repo. We have created a Snowflake account. We just loaded some data, right? We just ran some SQL to load some data. We uploaded a file. We created some configuration parameters, and that's it. And then what I didn't show you is installing some dependencies, right? So there's actually and I can show you that right now so that folks can follow along. All right, so back to my terminal. And as always, holler if you can't see it. So what you can do is you can do pip, if you have pip on your machine, pip install -r requirements will get you everything that is required to run this example. And then you just do Streamlit run streamlit.py. Right? You see something different on your screen without a host. Okay, interesting. People seem to be having problems with the host. So let me show you my account and see if we can debug it together for folks who are following along. I really want you to be able to walk away with this example working. Okay, so let's see. Where am I? All right. Is this my account? No, this is not my account. This is my account, right? All right, cool. So has everyone been able to get here? So your host is your account server URL, right? It's just this. It's just your account.snowflakecomputing.com. I probably could have made this code even simpler, right? Because it's literally just the same thing as your account identifier. So what I could have done is I could have just automatically filled this in for you. But let me go back and show you my configuration. If you want to copy and paste my password, you can. It's a throwaway trial account. I really don't care. Right. So this is my secrets file. You can see I've got an account. I've got a user. So this is my user, right? That I created this user when we created the trial. This is my username. And you should also be able to find it in that dialog. The password, hopefully you saved when you created your trial account. If you've forgotten your password, just create a new account. Just start again. If you at any point run into problems and you're like, I can't follow this along, just start again. Just create a new account and you'll be fine. And then the role should also be displayed in your dialog. And then the host is basically the account.snowflakecomputing.com. That's it. That's all the configuration you need. Yes, you copy all of those from Snowflake to the secrets file. Exactly. Yeah. Of course. And then, so I'll just walk you through the steps that we did again, okay, so that we can bring everything back together. Where is my repo? I think we're in here. Yes. Okay. So here's all we did, right? We cloned this repo. We signed up for an account. We ran one SQL worksheet using some SQL. And what we did was we just created a space to host our files. We created some tables and we loaded some data into those tables, right? And then this bit here, I didn't show you earlier, but it's just us creating the search service that allows the agent to search through the data. Okay. And then that's it. And then we have this YAML file in the repo. And what we did was we uploaded it using this dialog. We created a .streamlit folder in our repo, and we pasted in some secrets from Snowflake, right? And how we do that was we looked for a name in the bottom left corner. We selected connect a tool to Snowflake. It looks like this. I'm going to do it again just so you can see where to find that information. Connect the tool to Snowflake. And then boom, there you go. And you can just copy and paste that information in. And here's an example of what to put in your secrets file. Run your requirements to make sure you have all the dependencies. But if you notice, the dependencies are really simple. Okay. So we're actually just installing Streamlit. We're installing a Snowflake connector so that it does the authentication for us. Requests is a very standard Python library that connects to our API. And the SSE client is what allows us to stream that data back and turn it into something meaningful, right? And that's it. So just 4 dependencies. Very simple, very easy. And then run the app and have fun. Cool. All right. I hope this was interesting for you guys. Thank you for playing with me, and thanks for following along, and thanks for all the feedback. Leave questions, comments on the repo if you still get stuck, if you need help. But yeah, congrats. We just built an agent together.
Howdy, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate y'all sticking around and being tuned in while we went through some of these technical difficulties. But Anna, thank you so much. You're currently muted right now, so I don't know if you're trying to talk. But really appreciate everyone that joined us. And yeah. Thanks once again to the folks from from Snowflake and Streamlit, and we'll see you again. Stick around because we have another workshop coming up after this. So Rita is going to be joining us a little bit later to kind of do a little bit more in-depth stuff with Snowflake and basically like carry over from the stuff that we learned today at this session. So once again, thanks everyone for all of your time, all of your questions. We hope to see you soon. And once again, stick around because we have more content ready and waiting for y'all. All right, take it easy, y'all.